Ladies and gentlemen, our program will begin in 5 minutes. As a courtesy to those around you, please silence all cell phones. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage AAPC President Art Hackney.
Thank you. Welcome. If everyone could take their seats.
Hi, it's Independent Women's Voice.
Welcome to the 2014 Pollie Awards. I'd like to begin by thanking, if everyone could give a round of applause to Resonate for hosting the reception prior to this. And then I would like to start by bringing our host this evening for the Pollie dinner, Rob Montesinos, Senior Account Executive at Shutterstock. If Rob could come up to the stage. It's all yours.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you here tonight to the 2014 Pollie Awards Gala Dinner. It is an honor to be surrounded by so many people and organizations that I respect, that we work with, admire for their contributions to the world of political advertising and marketing. At Shutterstock, our mission is to power the world's creativity. So put simply, we help create people do amazing things. When Alana and I first put our heads together to discuss the idea of Shutterstock's participation in tonight's event, I was immediately excited. As a leading provider of high-quality, royalty-free creative content, I knew that there was so much we could accomplish in partnership with many of the organizations here tonight. As evidenced by the sheer number of quality entries, there are a lot of incredible creative and innovative people in the room. I'd like to play a short video for you now, which showcases some of Shutterstock's rapidly growing video collection.
You and I have a rendezvous with destiny.
We as a nation still have the capacity to rally together around a common purpose.
Its purpose is national, not regional. To build a better America, it's that simple and that big.
And now that great goal has been achieved.
In factories, farms, and schools, in cities and towns around the globe, we, the people of the free world, stand as one.
This has been one of the great days of America.
All Americans are in the position of ambassadors.
On behalf of peace and prosperity and the progress of all mankind.
Tonight, I urge every public official, every religious leader, every business and professional man, every working man, every housewife, I urge every American to join in this effort to bring justice and hope to all our people.
To renew the American spirit and sense of purpose.
We believe we must be the family of America, recognizing that at the heart of the matter we are bound one to another.
You will be in our hearts, and you will be in our prayers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I'd like to close by congratulating all of tonight's entrants and winners. This year, the AAPC received over 1,600 entries, and each entry was carefully reviewed by a pool of over 265 judges. Talk about stiff competition. And I'm very excited to present an inaugural Shutterstock Best Use of Imagery Award, selected from the best of tonight's entrants. I'd like to present this special award to 365 Strategies for Tyler Proud, Vote by Mail. Are you here? Come on up. On behalf of Shutterstock and the AAPC, thank you all so much for joining, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Rob. We have one little departure from the normal agenda. Chad Barth from Eventbrite is with us tonight. Many of you know Chad from his orange tuxedo that he wore last year, or the red shoes that he's wearing around the conference this year. We want to mention that Chad has finally decided to become a candidate. The campaign he's running for doesn't require yard signs or lit drops, and it's one that doesn't have a political party. On Thursday, Chad became a candidate for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society's Man of the Year campaign in Washington, D.C. It's an aggressive 10-week fundraising challenge started on midnight on Thursday. Along with his campaign manager and first Pollie conference attendee, Jeff Davis, they are leading Team Politico's effort to bring a bipartisan end to cancer. If there's one thing we can all agree on as Republicans and Democrats, it's that cancer sucks. So if you're able to do so, we highly encourage you all to take a look at donating to Chad's efforts, and you can find them at www.mwoy.org and just search for Chad Barth. mwoy.org and search for Chad Barth. Why don't you stand up? That's Chad. We're going to keep things moving this evening very quickly, and we're going to start, as people are served, with our Campaign Excellence Awards, because we have a couple of recipients who need to depart town. So I'm going to start by bringing Tim Rosales to the stage to begin with our Campaign Excellence 11 Awards.
Thank you very much. Some of you who are familiar with the show The Golden Girls may remember a certain line from grandmother Sophia Petrillo. And let me borrow it. Picture this. San Diego, August 2013. Mayor Bob Filner resigned due to scandal less than a year after his election. And a campaign manager running the race of a relatively little-known Republican council member is not given much of a chance in Democrat and independent-heavy city of San Diego against a progressive Latino Democratic city councilman and a widely popular and well-funded Republican-turned-independent-turned-Democrat candidate. In 3 short months, this campaign manager moved the needle and reached communities where a Republican hadn't made inroads in decades. The outcome, his candidate, Kevin Faulconer, receives 42% of the vote and places first in the 3-way primary. Now he's thrust into another 3-month sprint in the runoff. And this campaign manager oversaw his candidate needing to raise and raising over $1 million with $500 per person contribution limits. He activated volunteers across California, Republican volunteers across the country and state, and coalesced really a community running an inclusive campaign that brought people together, a diverse group of people, a bipartisan group of people, a collection of communities into one of the most remarkable victories for a Republican candidate in California in recent history. Right now, if you want to hashtag textbook after @Stephen Pitts on Twitter, it would be appropriate to do so. So without further ado, let me introduce the local campaign manager of the year for a Republican, Mr. Stephen Pitts.
Good evening. Perhaps the greatest challenge Democrats have faced in recent election cycles has been the replication down ballot of the successes of the Obama victories. How do we apply these lessons in statewide races, and even more difficult, in local races? This year's Democratic Campaign Manager of the Year did this in not one but two races, where he leveraged his 2008 Obama experience and the key lessons learned from that victory. One of these victories occurred in Meridian, Mississippi, where almost 50 years after the murder of 3 civil rights workers in the region, when he helped to elect the first African American mayor in that city and the first Democrat in City Hall in more than 20 years. Meridian Democrats were mired in campaign practices of the past, an old school aversion to targeted multi-channel communications and metrics-based organizing. Our winner changed all that. Granted, he had second thoughts at times, and it seemed more than coincidence when shortly after he came aboard, a brown stuffed animal was found hanging from a noose outside the campaign office. But in the end, he succeeded in building a biracial coalition with an effective multimedia campaign and a textbook field effort. In the end, Percy Bland made history with a record African American turnout and a 55% total on election night with a biracial coalition. Just a few months later, our Campaign Manager of the Year directed an upset victory for a first-time state Senate candidate in South Carolina. Marlon Kempson began at 4% in the polls, but our honoree waged an aggressive campaign in a novel way. Rather than run against two entrenched, well-known, longtime local officials who were his opponents in the primary, he made Governor Nikki Haley the villain, and in the end prevailed in this referendum on her tenure. The Atlantic Monthly calls the Meridian, Mississippi election a rude shock to Republicans and part of the first ripple of a Democratic comeback in the South. Never have the lessons of the Obama victories been so expertly applied in red state America as when this man managed the Percy Bland campaign. He showed that with expert targeting, a coordinated message delivery system through different media channels, an accountable field program, and a disciplined candidate, victory is attainable in even the most unlikely of places. His success is a model for red state Democrats up and down the ballot. I ask you to join me tonight in honoring Lachlan McIntosh as Local Campaign Manager of the Year.
Okay, vertical integration. Everybody take a drink. Oh, wait, that was yesterday's panel. Okay. So let's take New Jersey, please. Anyway, I could stand up here and recite a lot of facts and figures about New Jersey and about the fact that the next honoree accomplished what was impossible. In a state with 750,000 more Democrats than Republicans, in a state where Barack Obama carried it by 17 points, in a state where Republicans hadn't won statewide twice in, I think, over 50 years, our Republican Strategist of the Year pulled it off with a resounding victory. So rather than go on with more stats, you all know who he is. Let's honor Mike Duhame, who did an amazing job for Chris Christie.
Good evening. Good evening. It's a real honor for me to be here tonight to present the Democratic Strategist of the Year award. You know, oftentimes those of us who are involved in political campaigns face some pretty tough obstacles. Well, this year's honoree faced perhaps the most difficult obstacle any of us have, and that is trying to find a way to elect someone in a write-in campaign in a primary. Add to that one of the nation's leading cities, Detroit, as the battlefield. Mike Duggan, the write-in candidate, faced other candidate on the ballot. And there was overwhelming odds placed against him. In fact, one of the reporters that covered the story said, "I never thought I'd see this happen. It's almost like seeing a unicorn." Well, oftentimes, talented people in our field do things that seem impossible to others, but they do it with extraordinary effort and skills that have been honed over a career. And like Becky said, we could go on and on, but no one needs to know the detail. If you've heard the name that I'm going to present to you tonight, you'll understand why that after the write-in campaign, they won the battle by a 20-point margin. And that is a remarkable feat. And after winning the primary and being placed on the ballot, they went on to win the general election as well. Join me in bringing to the stage someone who has had a distinguished career, lots of incredible wins throughout that career, but this year's Democratic Strategist of the Year, Joe Slade White.
Okay, Republican Campaign Manager of the Year. I'm going to take you to a place where a lot of you have never been to, Omaha, Nebraska. It is a blue dot in a very big red state. How blue is it? It's a +10 Democrat city. Barack Obama carried Omaha and actually in 2008 picked up an electoral vote out of Nebraska. Go figure. I can go on and on and on, but it's a pretty bad deal. So this next award winner sits down one day with the wife of a doctor, and she says, "I think I'll run for mayor." Oh, yippee, right? You know how it is. +10 Democrat city, doctor's wife. That works really well. Well, the story goes on and on and on and on, and you know how it all ends. The labor unions, the police and fire unions, decide that they're going to pick somebody else. They're going to pick the incumbent Democrat. And so what happens is, for 40 years, they have had the winning candidate. Not this year. This year, despite being outspent 2-1, our Republican Campaign Manager of the Year did it all. He wrote the television commercials, he produced the television commercials, he produced the radio commercials, he took care of the volunteers and everything else. So from the big red state of Nebraska, I want to introduce Ryan Horn, Republican Campaign Manager of the Year.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here, and I'm here to present Campaign Manager of the Year on the Democratic side, mostly because we don't have Media Consultant of the Year. We're going to have to sort of fix that. But this year we saw what many considered a most interesting race for the New York City mayoral from the Democratic side. For much of the year, this campaign was in last place. It was considered an afterthought in the media and by many insiders. In fact, it was written off by most people. However, this campaign manager, described euphemistically as frugal, had more points on the air on TV advertising than the other two campaigns together. Any of you know how media works, especially in the New York DMA, it's super expensive. So in the end, Bill de Blasio won every borough and every demographic group in the New York City mayoral primary and avoided a runoff. So I would love to hear you shout and scream and help me congratulate Bill Hires to the stage as Democratic Campaign Manager of the Year.
Okay. This next award is for the Republican Pollster of the Year. And I've got to say, it's about time. I've worked with this pollster for 30 years. And for 30 years, this person has helped build the party and done some fabulous things. The award that the firm is going to get tonight is based on a special election in Louisiana, a special election in which we all know Republicans are going to win. But what we didn't know was that their candidate started at 2% against the establishment, against the governor's candidate, against everybody else, got in a runoff and won for 60% of the vote. All right. This woman and this firm deserves this award, and it's it's absolutely fabulous that we finally get to do it. American Viewpoint, Linda Duvall, Randy Guttermouth, and David Kenovinsky. Come on up and get an award, guys.
Good evening. Ask any pollster what they do, and they are likely to give you an explanation that begins with target voters, crosstabs, and regression analysis. But ask any candidate what pollsters do, and you'll probably get some kind of answer involving alchemy, divining rods, and Ouija boards. But no campaign function is more critical and less understood than opinion research. Maybe because they're the only ones in the campaign who took math. But maybe because it requires such an intricate balance between hard facts and intuition. That was certainly the case for this year's Democratic Pollster of the Year. This year's winner, according to Politico, was key to the come-from-behind victory of Bill de Blasio as mayor of New York. She helped bring him from 7% of the vote in the early polls and a distant fourth place for mayor to a 40.3% first place showing in the Democratic primary and a stunning 50-point victory in the general election. And she did it by uncovering New Yorkers' concerns about race, income inequality, and middle-class anxiety in ways no other campaign had been able to see. And none of this success was a fluke, because the Bill de Blasio campaign was just the latest of many successful campaigns where tonight's winner was the lead pollster. Governor Mark Dayton, State Senator Wendy Davis, Mayor Rahm Emanuel, Congressman Gabrielle Giffords, Congressman Pete Gallego, Congresswoman Michelle Lujan Grisham are just some of the winning candidates who owe this success to our winner. And if this isn't enough, she still makes time to work with NGOs on issues ranging from health to LGBT rights to attitudes about religion to reducing gun violence to reforming drug laws. Woo, I don't know where does she sleep? And appear on shows like CBS Face the Nation, NPR's All Things Considered, and Morning Edition, and BBC's World News America. It is indeed my honor to present the award to the first woman, and by no means the last, Democratic Pollster of the Year, Anna Greenberg.
All right, settle down, settle down. Our nominee for International Campaign Consultant of the Year was not only the pollster, but the chief on-the-ground strategist for a new emerging party in the Czech Republic. When he began working on the campaign in May 2013, the party lacked a clear agenda and was virtually unknown. None of the political pundits saw the party as a contender. And at the time, less than 2% of the Czech Republic were even aware of the party's existence. The pressure was increased when a sudden governmental collapse resulted in a snap election, cutting what should have been a 12-month election process to less than 5 months. This year's winner worked under incredible pressure to not only poll, but to create a successful positioning strategy to navigate the new party to victory using print, TV, and social media. This year's Campaign Excellence Award for International Campaign Consultant of the Year goes to Alexander Braun of Penn-Schoen, Berlin, for his
Okay, for our next award, I thought I'd pretend it's Throwback Thursday, but instead it's Throwback Friday. And so I brought with me our former executive director of the AAPC, the much beloved Anthony Bellotti, to help me with this next award.
Greetings. Best use of new technology. In 2013, the challenges for the Connecticut GOP were similar to that facing many candidates and organizations. Most of their data was spread among fragmented spreadsheets all over the place. Donors, prospects, volunteers. Voter Trove solved that problem. It cut down on the time remarkably spent by field staff to manage the data and initiate outreach. and the platform enabled them to get one of the most value out of their data by putting it in one place, making it easier to use. So the 2014 Best Use of New Technology Award goes to Justin Gargulo of Voter Trove.
Hi, I'm Liz Chatterton. I'm an AAPC board member, and I'm here to announce the last Campaign Excellence Award of the night. You're supposed to cheer. There you go. So for those of you who know me, I will say I am the president of the Chatterton Group. So anybody going to do it with me? A subsidiary of the Chatterton Institute, represented by the law offices of, right down the street from Chatterton Toyota. See, that's why I love the AAPC. So I'm here tonight to give the Campaign Excellence Award for the Public Affairs Advocacy Campaign of the Year. These days, bipartisanship, as well as speaking after a bottle of wine, is remarkable regardless of the issue. Tonight's winner did the near unimaginable in 2013 by building a bipartisan coalition alongside a Republican governor while facing opposition from a Republican-dominated state legislature. They built a comprehensive public affairs strategy of lobbying, public relations, grassroots activists, web, and social media. Their coalition was made up of hundreds of business, social, and community organizations who wrote letters, held rallies, and lobbied legislators. In the end, they helped pass an important piece of legislation, which means nearly 300,000 citizens of their state will receive health care in 2014 and beyond. Their success is a testament to how even the toughest opponents in the toughest of environments can work together to accomplish their goals. This year's winner of the Campaign Excellence Award for the Best Public Affairs Advocacy Campaign is Restoring Arizona.
Before I let everyone settle in and enjoy your dinner, could I get Tom Shepard and Ondine Fortune to come up? Tom and Ondine are the co-chairs of this year's Pollie conference. They have done an exceptional job, I think you'd all agree. And so to recognize this, as we move away from Dale Emmons' Kentucky bourbon, fine Kentucky bourbon, by the way, we move to some Alaska motifs. So we would like to present them at Alaska Forum of the Pollie Award. Since she is so huggy, we're going to give Ondine an Alaskan bear, and we're going to give Tom an Alaska walrus to acknowledge their hard work on the Pollie Award. So congratulations. Thanks. And you get to keep yours. So very quickly, while you eat and before we take a little break, there are some thank yous. Along with Ondine and Tom, there was a committee. They were a very active committee, and they're the ones that created all of the panels that you enjoyed. Lorena Chambers Lopez Strategies, Ed Clancy of Livable Streets, Carol Damon, Comcast Spotlight, Brian Franklin, Impact Politics, Jim Innocenzi, Sadler Innocenzi, Mike Madrid, Grassroots Lab, Beth Miller Public Affairs Group, Tim Rosales, the Wayne Johnson Agency, and Doc Schweitzer of the campaign group. We also have done something remarkable under the direction. We have a Pollie Contest Committee that was chaired by Rich Schlackman. What they did was take what last year was 1,100 categories and whittled them down by 2/3 to 360 categories in this year's Pollies to give them greater value. The members of Rich's committee: Anthony Bellotti, Campaign Solutions; Melissa Creasy, DS Political; Tracy Dietz, Labels and Lists; and Kevin O'Neill of Grassroots Enterprise. And what's made this entire affair run, I think, extremely smoothly, we have a fantastic AAPC staff. Our actual staff: Elena Joyce, Executive Director; Amanda Sherb, our Program Manager and Pollie Contest Coordinator; and Becky Suleiman, our Membership Manager. And behind the scenes, people you may or may not have run into, our Meetings and Management Group who put this together: Hunter Clemens, Rebecca Fazzari, Amy Motika, and Rebecca Malavi. Now there's one other thing that I need to mention. Something very significant is taking place at this Pollie Awards. Our Pollie Award is sailing off into the San Diego sunset. This will be the last year where this is the Pollie Award given, and we are going to be announcing to each of you individually a contest to design the new Pollie Award, which will be unveiled at the next Pollie conference. And the winner that will be chosen by the Board of Directors will get a yet-to-be-determined but very exciting and expensive prize. So expect the invitation to design the next Pollie to be coming in the mailbox soon. So enjoy your dinner, and we'll be back on the stage in just a few minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, our program is now resuming. Everybody's still talking a lot. Okay. He knew. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Art Hackney.
If I could get everyone's attention, we're going to begin the program. On November the 12th, 1967, which ironically was just a month after Gavin Newsom, who gave that rock star performance here yesterday, was born, Eugene McCarthy gave an interview to the Washington Post in which he said, "Politics is a lot like being a football coach. You have to be smart enough to understand the game and dumb enough to think it matters." But just 18 days later, Eugene McCarthy got into the presidential race against Lyndon Johnson to protest the Vietnam War, and he almost beat him in the New Hampshire primary. As a result, Robert F. Kennedy got into the race in March, and 2 weeks later, Lyndon Johnson, a sitting president, decided not to run for re-election. 2 weeks after that, Hubert Humphrey got into the race, and I started my career in politics in Fairbanks, Alaska, organizing a high school group for Richard Nixon. But I've been dumb enough to think that politics matters ever since then. And I'm also dumb enough to think that the AAPC does matter, that organizations like this do make a difference. I'll never forget in Paris back in 2010, we had an IAPC meeting, and we went to the National French Assembly. And the president of the French Assembly, Bernard Acquer, said very passionately, it was a remarkable speech, saying how much he felt political consultants gave to the world, what an important group we were to democracy in the world. So I do believe we are very important. I think politics is important, but to reflect a little on politics and history, I'd like to have Jeff Greenfield come up for a moment and say a few words.
If you're still eating, please go ahead. I spent 13 years at Nightline, which was on at 11:30 at night, and when I think of what people were doing on the other side of the TV screen, or perhaps right out here, actually, it's no big deal. I spent yesterday and today looking at the exhibits, going to the panels, listening to the presentations, or as I chose to call them, infomercials. And I have to admit, I feel a little bit like Saturday Night Live's unfrozen caveman lawyer. I know not of these strange ways. For me, a mobile app was a sound truck. I'm not a Luddite. The analytic tools at your disposal is just the next step in a constantly evolving story of new tools of communication, from the high-speed press to radio to newsreels to TV to cable to computers. And after Nate Silver in 2012 demolished the gut check school of political analysis, I actually said, I, for one, welcome our new algorithmic overlords. But it doesn't mean I'm here without some cautionary notes. And they're not the ones you might expect. I was interested in that that session this morning, the feeling that incivility has increased in politics. If you really think this is a particularly uncivil time, you need to go back and reread American history. When you think when you think of Thomas Jefferson accusing John Adams of wanting to restore the British monarchy, Adams's people accusing Jefferson of being an atheistic advocate of compulsory prostitution, John Quincy Adams being accused of pimping for the Tsar of Russia, Andrew Jackson being accused of bigamy and murder. In this state in 1934, the producers, the major Hollywood studios got together and made phony newsreels to prove that the Democratic governor candidate, Upton Sinclair, would turn California into a Soviet state. And when you think of racial politics and McCarthyism, it's just really hard to say that we're in a particularly uncivil time. What we are in is when, because of cable and the web, it's simply more accessible. But here's what I do think. And it really results from a lot of what I've seen here. And that is as the tools have become more sophisticated, as you're able to slice the electorate into ever smaller segments, what I do think is that a lot of our political discourse has gotten smaller. The other day I was reading on an interview with Alex Lundry of Target Point Consulting, this was in Politico, who says now that the data mining has become so sophisticated that he would be able, from his office, to take an audience that was all watching the same television program, say American Idol, and send household by household different commercials based on the metrics that he had learned. It's one step removed from turning on the TV and watching a commercial that goes, "Hey Jeff, here's how much you paid in taxes last year. Don't you think that was a little much?" So the question about all these tools is, who's talking to America? Who's talking to the country? Maybe Obama was wrong in that famous 2004 speech when he said we're not red states and blue states, we're the United States. Maybe the way politics is done today is that we're not one nation or even two, but maybe 300 million nations, in which the goal is to reach as small a segment as possible with the most targeted message. I am an optimist by nature, and for me, I've always believed that one of the great things about politics in a free country is you get to talk to people and try to persuade them. I made that point last night about some of the commercials Dave Garth made. And maybe I got spoiled. My first campaign right out of law school was the presidential campaign of Robert Kennedy, where he would go to colleges and talk to thousands of students and tell them why he was against student draft deferments. And they'd boo. And he would say, wait a second. This is the generation that talks about itself as this great advocate of justice. Who do you think is being drafted because you're not? African Americans, Hispanics, poor whites, people without the money or the connections to get into college. Why is that fair? And one of the reporters wrote of that, you could actually see people's minds being changed. And it's far from the only example. I saw Mike Huckabee at a family values conference in 2007 tell this group, yeah, I'm pro-life, but I'm also pro-life after birth, and that means a better environment and education and a chance for poor kids, which was not the message necessarily that group wanted to hear. You look around now and you see mayors and governors, Democrats here, Rahm Emanuel, Andrew Cuomo, Jerry Brown, turning and saying to their own base, public employee unions, we don't have the money to do this anymore. And I think that's the point about politics. Yeah, I understand it's a profession or a craft or a business or an industry, whatever you want to call it. And there's votes to be won. But that's not the point. That's not the point. When I say I'm an optimist, I think when I left college, God help me, half a century ago, not a single black had ever served in the cabinet of the United States, nor on the Supreme Court, nor had a woman ever been on the Supreme Court, nor had an African American. On the other side of the world was a totalitarian superpower with nuclear weapons that we thought would last forever. Years later, I went to South Africa for my first visit, came back, said this will never change. And 5 years later, I went back and sat in a soccer stadium as Nelson Mandela gave his first speech as a free man. That's the point about politics. That's the point about politics. At the end, there's a movie that you young folk may not have seen, but there's this device, I guess, called a DVD, or even maybe Netflix. It's called The Candidate. It's a 1972 movie where Robert Redford plays an idealistic candidate for senator dragged into the muck and mire. At the end of the movie, he has won. It's election night in his suite. The people are cheering, and Redford looks at his political consultant from across the room and he mouths, "What do I do now?" And the consultant goes like this. I can't hear. He says again, "What do I do now?" The consultant shrugs and the movie ends. My point is, in the midst of the work and the business and the effort to find voters and persuade them, that question is the most important question about politics. What do we do now? And when you think about what you're doing, I'm just hoping, and this is as much true of the press and the public as it is of this business, just remember that question, what do we do now, is at the heart of what politics is about. Thank you.
Every time there's a Pollie conference, everyone's got ideas about how the Pollie Awards should have been better and how they were presented. So we've taken that to heart. We're going to take a different direction. Many of you who were there last year, there were 1,100 categories, and they scrolled down the screen, and people had to look for where they were at and lost attention in the room. We're going to do something a little different. It's basically we're going to make some noise from now to the end, and then we're going to head to the after party where there is our booklets, printed books as there always have been, with all of the winners in them for you. But I'm going to start by we're going to go through all of the gold winners, and everybody is going to get recognized. There is a spotlight in the back. There is a camera rolling. When I call your name, get up, make noise, turn around, wave at the camera. We're going to show a little bit of your work. If you're a gold winner, you won't be happy. We've edited it to give just a snippet for everybody. And we're going to show with your logo all of the things that you won at one time so people can see what each company won. We think it perhaps will be a little better, but let's get this started. Wait a sec. They went too fast. Okay, 360 strategies. Are they going to stand up? Where are they? Face the spotlight. Look at the camera. Tyler Proud, vote by mail. 76 words.
Somebody would have asked me even 10 years ago if marriage is a man and a woman, I would have just said, oh yeah, sure. We're really looking forward to the weddings of our 2 children that are going to be allowed to be married, but just wishing that somehow, someday down the road, that we could possibly have our son Kyle have that choice too. He shouldn't have to go to Canada. He shouldn't have to go to the East Coast or some other state. He's from Minnesota.
I wouldn't want anyone to tell me it's illegal to marry the person that I love.
2 gold awards. Age strategies and majority designs. Stand up, spotlight. You've got to take the initiative if you want the applause. We've got 1 gold award, and we've got 2 silver awards. Ampersand Consulting. There we go. Now this is an interesting one. A lot of us, we've always just shown the TV and the radio, and we don't all do just TV and radio. So this may not look like much to you, but what you're looking at is, 5:30 in the morning, you wake up your campaign volunteers, you get them drunk, you go out on the street, you go knock on doors, and you do a coordinated GOTV campaign. Berlin Rosen. Where's our spotlight?
The president needs all the support he can get.
Yes, he does.
That's why we have to vote against Debbie Halverson in the special election on the 26th.
Halverson didn't stand with President Obama?
No, when she was in Washington, she voted against extending unemployment benefits for millions of Americans.
And unemployment benefits?
Yeah, cut benefits for millions of folks who lost their jobs and voted for lower inheritance taxes for the richest 1%.
What?
In fact, when Debbie Halverson was in Washington, she voted with Republicans 88 times.
88 times?
Yeah.
We have one gold award, one silver award, and one bronze award for Berlin Rosen. Brabender Cox.
Just how far is UPMC willing to go to take advantage of local families? Here's the latest. According to the Post-Gazette and Tribune Review, UPMC is now claiming they have no employees. But in fairness to UPMC, we thought we would check for ourselves. Maybe they actually have no employees. And if UPMC really has no employees, who's going to fly on their brand new $50 million jet? UPMC. It's hard to trust anything they tell us.
Brabender Cox, a gold award, 3 silver awards, and 2 bronze awards. Cerulean NN4.
What's the school levy pay for? Pencils! Books!
Music.
Oh, 27% of Seattle Schools' operating budget.
Really?
Science labs.
English!
Foreign language. Hola! Seismic upgrades for 37 schools.
That's cool. PE!
International education.
Reset!
We have 2 gold awards and 1 bronze award. Chambers Lopez Strategies.
Ken Cuccinelli y sus convicciones de poca confianza son un asunto de registro. Cuccinelli comparó la política de inmigración a la exterminación de ratas.
¿Qué dijo el candidato a la gobernación de Virginia?
It is worse than our immigration policy. You can't break up rat families, and you can't even kill them.
¿Qué tipo de persona diría eso? Una en que no se puede confiar. Ken Cuccinelli, él está concentrado en su propia agenda, no en nosotros.
One gold award and 2 silver awards for Chambers Lopez. Chisholm Strategies.
Hello. Hola.
¿Cómo está?
My name is Jesus. I'm calling with an important message about immigration reform from our union, SEIU. Press 1 for English. Mi nombre es Jesús. Estoy llamando desde nuestro sindicato SEIU con un mensaje importante sobre la reforma migratoria. Oprime el 2 para español.
Ako po si Eloisa, tumatawag upang magbigay ng importanteng mensahe patungkol sa imigrasyon reforma mula sa ating union, SEIU.
We have 3 gold awards. We have 3 more gold awards, 3 silver awards, and a bronze award for Chisholm Strategies. CK Strategies.
Hi, this is Mary Walsh calling. I'm calling to see if you received my son's piece of mail about his campaign for mayor. If you did not, please call 617-742-2013, and we will have one sent.
We have 2 gold awards. That was Mama Walsh, and 1 bronze award. DDC Advocacy.
Nevada is under attack. Vultures from a California investment firm have descended upon hardworking homeowners whose mortgages are underwater. It doesn't matter if you're current with your mortgage payments. In their scheme, these vultures still want your house. And they're trying to enlist local politicians to help make it happen so they can make millions. If we don't stop them, they'll do what vultures do. Take everything. Sign our petition at don'ttakemyhouse.com. Paid for by the Southern Nevada Issues Mobilization Fund.
3 gold awards and 1 silver award. Democracy.com. We have 1 gold award for Democracy.com. Fletcher Rowley.
I'm not concerned about the very poor.
Some leaders just foster indifference. That's Mayor Bill Foster. Bill Foster co-chaired Mitt Romney's campaign.
I'm not concerned about the very poor.
Tea Party Governor Rick Scott endorsed Foster. And get this, Foster said African Americans, quote, may be lousy business owners, unquote. Really? Foster tried to close Jenny Hall Pool. Foster cut Meals on Wheels for seniors in our community.
We have 1 gold award and 1 silver award for Fletcher Rowley. Gateway Media, the Wayne Johnson Agency.
Nathan Fletcher courted the Tea Party with anti-immigrant rhetoric, but then he switched his principles to run for mayor. He bashed labor unions and supported pension reform, but then he switched his principles again. Now he's against pension reform and supports spending billions to... Wait, he's switching again.
All that! This guy keeps switching his principles on every issue. I can't keep mindlessly following Nathan Fletcher. Am I mindless?
We have 2 gold awards for Mindless Zombies. We have 2 more gold awards for Mindless Zombies. Zombies also get a silver. And 2 of the 3 bronze awards for the Wayne Johnson Agency. GMMB.
You got money, I got a way to take it from you. Watch this. Dear valued customer, please verify your social security number, address, blah, 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 blah. Send. I go into her social network, find out her birth date, her hometown, and boom! I am Darla in Greenville. Easy peasy.
Visit the AARP Fraud Watch Network to learn how to protect yourself from identity theft, fraud, and this guy.
Sorry, Darla. Not really.
We have 3 gold awards for GMMB, 2 silvers, another 2 silvers, and a bronze award for GMMB. Goddard Goodster. We have 1 gold award for Goddard Goodster. Don't know who these people are. Must be Dumb and Dumber. Okay, 1 gold award, 3 silver, and 2 bronze for somebody with the same last name. High Ground Incorporated. Are you here? Stand up. Get that spotlight. Turn around.
Recently, there have been some questions about Governor Brewer's Medicaid plan. Let's look at the 3 options Governor Brewer could choose from. Governor Brewer chose option 3. Maybe that's why she has never lost an election.
We have 1 gold award for High Ground. IMGE from my home state, Freedom's Frontier website for a candidate running against U.S. Senator Mark Begich. We have 2 gold awards and another 2 gold awards, 2 silver awards for IMGE. Impact Politics. Impact Politics, stand up. Now, this is our high-tech guy, so this is very complex. This is, Must have something to do with how many things he's won. We have a gold award for United for Care social media for impact politics. In Focus campaigns.
Hello, this is Donna Beth, and I'm a lifelong Democrat and volunteer. I saw this ridiculous mailer from J. Chang Shepard and had to give you a call. Chang is trying to make out that my friend Celia Israel is palling around with Ted Cruz, like Ted Cruz would hang out with Stonewall Democrats. I know that Chang wants to cover her tracks of giving money to Republicans, like the right-wing councilwoman from San Antonio who call homosexuals disgusting. But this is desperate, really desperate.
It's a gold award for impact politics. IVC Media. We have 2 gold awards for IVC Media. Jackson Group Media. You can sing along.
Bud Jackson, Chair of American Working Families, and American Working Families approved and paid for this message.
Go Sox! 2 gold awards for Marty Walsh for Boston Mayor, 2 silver awards, and 2 bronze awards for the Jackson Group Media. Joe Slade White Media. He's down front over here.
How does Benny Napoleon fight crime? Well, one day, someone parked in Benny Napoleon's official parking spot. That was a crime so serious, suddenly 20 police officers were taken off crime-fighting duty to guard his parking spot in shifts, day and night, which made Benny Napoleon's parking spot pretty much the safest place in the city. Is that what we need right now?
We have 2 gold awards for Turnaround Detroit, 3 more gold awards for Turnaround Detroit, 2 silver awards for Turnaround Detroit, and 2 bronze awards for Turnaround Detroit. Kennedy Communications. We have a gold award, silver award, and a bronze award. LA Democratic Party.
Hi, this is Eric Bauman, Chair of the LA County Democratic Party, calling to alert you of a wolf in sheep's clothing who's running for state assembly. His name is Pollie, and he's a lifelong Republican who's trying to fool voters into believing he's an independent. Just 2 months ago, Leon ran for the state Senate as a Republican, and just recently the Republican Party gave him thousands of dollars to help with his campaign to fool you. Don't be fooled. Paul Leon is not an independent.
3 gold awards, 1 silver award, and 1 bronze award for the LA Democratic Party. Mission Control. We have 2 gold awards, 2 silver awards, and 2 more silver awards for Mission Control. Moxie Media. This one just sort of is almost like a TV spot. Two gold awards and 1 silver award for Moxie Media. NGP Van. We have 1 gold award and 2 bronze awards. Old Mixon Hill. It's a nutritious one. We have 2 gold awards, silver award, and 2 bronze awards for Old Mixon Hill. Optima from my home state.
In a time when Alaskans have stopped believing in those that claim to represent them, when there is too much promising and not enough delivery, when there's too much arrogance and disregard for what matters, one woman stands apart. Liesl McGuire, a lifelong Alaskan who has been one of the most effective members in the House and Senate for 13 years. Liesl listens. She responds. She's a visionary. And that's why she's running for lieutenant governor. Liesl doesn't take her job for granted.
1 gold award, 1 silver award. Congratulations, Tom. Penguin Action, Team 229. Fighting political apathy. We have 1 gold award. Revolution Messaging.
The ACLU and a young lady named Edie have brought marriage equality before the highest court in the land. Where will you be when the Supreme Court finally decides to strike down injustice and dismantle the Defense of Marriage Act?
This is it.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Equality, brought to you by the ACLU and people like you.
2 gold awards and 1 bronze award. Revolvus.
Lane County criminals are getting a get-out-of-jail-free card. Nearly 5,000 criminals are being released early each year. That's 100 criminals back on the street every week. The Register Guard said these statistics should send county residents crawling out of their beds at night and checking to make sure their doors are locked. 2213 increases local jail beds by 90% and is endorsed by law enforcement, victims, and local community leaders. Vote yes on 2213 and cut up the get-out-of-jail-free card.
1 gold award and 1 silver award for Revolvus. Rodan Carrion Asoa. This one's a minute long, but it's worth watching. In fact, it's hard to cut it. Three gold awards for Rodan Carrion and Asociados. Ryan Klumpner. One gold award for deception, one silver award, and 2 bronze awards. SAGAC Public Affairs. The Home Depot pack. We have 2 gold awards, 2 more gold awards, 2 silver awards, 2 more silver awards and a bronze award for SAGAC Public Affairs. ST Politics. I think you get the point. 1 gold award and 2 silver awards. Stampede Consulting from Austin, Texas. We have 2 gold awards for Stampede Consulting. Marty Stone, Stone's Phones.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening for our teletown hall with Senator Mark Warner and Democratic candidate for Attorney General Mark Herring. We're going to get started in just a few moments. Please remember, at any time during the call, you can press 0 to ask a question. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us this evening for our town hall with Senator Mark Warner and Democratic candidate for Attorney General Mark Herring. Please remember, at any time.
We love you, Marty, but let's get on with the awards. 3 gold awards, 1 silver award, and 1 bronze award. Stone's Phones.
Hello, I am calling on behalf of City Council candidate Blanca.
Go back. I don't see the logo. We got strategic fundraising.
Hello, I am calling on behalf of City Council candidate Blanca Lopez Brown. Blanca Lopez Brown is a teacher and school board member running for City Council. She'll put our children first and have an open door to our community. She has
¿Anthony qué? ¿Cómo?
Perdón, estoy llamando de parte de la candidata Blanca López Brown.
Ok.
Es una maestra y miembro del Consejo
Oh,
Escolar.
sí, ya la miré. Voy a escribir su nombre para votar por ella. ¿Blanca? Ajá, Blanca López, ¿verdad?
Exacto.
Ok. Ándale pues.
Gracias.
Okay.
Ándale pues.
2 gold awards for strategic fundraising. Strategic Partners in Media.
The first person I saw when I got off the helicopter was a woman. She saw me and she burst into tears. And she said to me, "Everything's gone. You have to help me." And people wanted me to tell them that it was going to be okay and that I wouldn't forget them. And I know that there's nothing more important for me to do as governor than to complete the mission of bringing their lives back to normal. I know we still have work to do, but I really believe finally New Jersey's moving in the right direction.
2 gold awards and 1 bronze award for Strategic Partners in Media. Targeted Victory. Another missing logo. For the famous Rubio water bottle. We have 2 gold awards, 2 silver awards, 3 more silver awards, and a bronze award for Targeted Victory. TPS Texas Petitions. For the Plano Voter News. We have 2 gold awards and 1 silver award. The Campaign Workshop.
We have a problem where we shop, where we pray, where our children go to school. But there are solutions we can agree on, even gun owners like us. Take it from me, Congress must act. Let's get this done.
We have 2 gold awards This is a campaign workshop. One page missing there. Meet the skeleton in Ben Hall's closet. We have 3 gold awards, 1 silver award, and 1 bronze award for the campaign workshop. The Chatterton Group. Another thing Chatterton is famous for, proud to have served my country. 1 gold award and 1 bronze award. The San Diego Group. Superhero. With a gold award for superhero. The Strategy Group Company.
We've come a long way. I know I've spent too much, but what's a few trillion? It was all for you. But I've changed. I'll keep my promises this time. It'll be different. I'm sorry for all the mistakes I've made. Sugar, just give me one more chance.
Break up with career politicians. The right guy, Teddy Turner, conservative Republican, economics teacher, not a politician.
I'm Teddy Turner, and I approve this message.
I'm going to move through these because we have 12 gold awards for the Strategy Group Company. We have 3 silver awards, and we have 4 bronze awards for the Strategy Group Company. Trilogy Interactive. Cory Booker. We have 4 total gold awards and 5 total silver awards for Trilogy Interactive. Upstream Communications.
No matter how we reform healthcare, we will keep this promise. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your healthcare plan, you'll be able to keep your healthcare plan, period.
We have 3 gold awards, 1 silver award, and 4 bronze awards for Upstream Communications. Victory Media Group and Antietam Communications.
Hi, it's Independent Women's Voice with our final short quiz for you. Just use the number buttons on your telephone to answer. First question. Which candidate for Congress in the special election has refused to sign a pledge to repeal Obamacare? Press 1 if you think Elizabeth Colbert Bush refused to sign a pledge to repeal Obamacare. Press 2 if you think the other candidate refused to sign a pledge to repeal Obamacare. Press 3 if you don't know.
We have 1 gold award, 1 silver award, and 1 bronze award. And our final gold award is for our student category, Soren Rasmussen of Fordham University.
Imagine a senator who values women's rights. When women are paid less than men for doing the same job, would that senator vote against a bill that secures equal pay for equal work? If he's truly concerned about victims of domestic violence, would he vote no on the Violence Against Women Act 3 times? Would that senator oppose a law that guarantees breast cancer screenings and makes sure that breast cancer survivors cannot be denied access to health care? And when that senator was asked about the votes, would he deny the problem and run from his own responsibility?
Talk about a manufactured issue. There is no issue.
It is one thing to say that you care. It's another thing to actually be true to your word.
We have the one gold award for Soren. This concludes our gold awards. And I think somebody is searching with a little cursor there. Do I click this to get to the silver and bronze? There we go. Now we have our silver and bronze awards. We're going to move through these, and then we're going to move to the after party. Active engagement. We have a bronze award. Go ahead if you want. Stand up. Active engagement. Get your moment on the spotlight because they're filming this. American Bridge. We have a bronze. Aristotle. We have a silver for best use of new technology. Blue and Reed. We have a silver. Campaign Solutions. We have one silver and two bronze awards. DS Political. We have a bronze award. Five Corner Strategies. We have a silver Pollie. GOCO, a silver Pollie. JTD Strategies, a silver Pollie. Kevin Kate Communications, we have a bronze. Lake Research Partners, we have a silver. Lucrative, we have a silver award. Maori Consulting Group, we have a bronze for Alabama Trauma. Red Horse Strategies, we have a bronze mugshot. Redstone Public Affairs, we have a bronze. Robert Advocacy Media, we have a bronze. Southpaw Strategies, we have a silver. White Coat Waste, Anthony, we have a silver. And for our student awards, we have Lucas Aragao. We have a bronze for radio. And for Brindis, Brindis has a silver award. I thought I was good with names. Lewis McDonald, we have a silver award. And that concludes our Pollie Awards for 2014. You've actually been a wonderful audience. I think this is the most respectful Pollies I've ever been to in terms of, honoring each other. So I thank you for that. Get your copy at the after party. I hope you've enjoyed this Pollies. I hope we see you next year. We're going to be doing a Survey Monkey. We're narrowing it down between South Beach, probably New Orleans, and Charleston, South Carolina. So it'll probably be between those three next year. Have a wonderful night, and thank you for coming.